Hey there, kids. How you doing? Well, it's another week gone, another week closer to going back to school, whether you're going back live or if you're going to go back on learning online. But we are here because we want to continue to share Jesus with you and tell you all kinds of things that are cool from the Bible and talk about some everyday things that we have that God has created for us. Now, last week, do you remember what we talked about? I kind of got the video on late, so I'm not sure whether you got it or not, but it was strawberries. That's one of my favorites, which is kind of funny because now we're going to go to this thing, which is one of my least favorites. So, everybody likes strawberries and oranges and apples and grapes and bananas, but this one is kind of weird. Now, when I saw it, when I was a kid and saw it in the grocery store, I thought it was a vegetable. I just thought it doesn't look like it's a fruit. It doesn't look pretty enough to be a fruit. And then when you look at it up close, to me, it looks like it's got mold and fuzz. It looks like it's starting to rot. So I was never interested in this fruit. And when you find out about it, it's really pretty amazing. And yeah, it's kind of not the prettiest fruit. But believe it or not, there is another fruit that's even worse looking than this, and it's called the ugly fruit. Can you imagine if you went to the store and said, "Oh, please, Mom, will you get me the ugly fruit?" But to me, this is kind of close. And if you guys haven't figured out yet, it's the kiwi. Now, it's unusual looking and strange looking, but it's packed with vitamin C and it's one of the best things you can eat. But it's kind of a trendy thing. So like other trendy fruits would be like acai berries or pomegranates, things that people on the normal don't eat all the time. But many of you may like your kiwis. I almost called it an avocado. The kiwi fruit. Now, some people will slice it up, but I've seen people who let it kind of, I don't want to say rot, but kind of get a little soft. And you cut the top off and then you just eat the middle out with a spoon. Believe it or not, it's weird looking because when you open it up, it's got a really cool pattern to it, which has its seeds. And then the other thing is that it's something that when you start to eat it, it's kind of soft like a strawberry. So, but I know a lot of people like it sliced, and I like it mixed up with things, but I don't know if I've really just sat down and said, I want to have a kiwi tonight. But the thing is that it's unusual, and we've talked about some other unusual things, but our story today is about something unusual. But before that, I just want to show you. So this is what the kiwi looks like, and it grows kind of like a tomato plant. It grows from a vine, and they kind of grow them up on these trellises so they're easier to pick. And this thing, the other thing is this actually came from China. But the people in New Zealand liked it, and they kind of stole it and took it back to New Zealand, and that's where they named it the kiwi, and they named it the kiwi after the bird that's called the kiwi. So just a little information. But anyway, when I'm walking through the store, this isn't one of the things I'm really excited to find or look or see. And then if you notice, here's how one looks when it's cut open. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. And all those little black things are the seeds, but like most fruits, with some fruits, it's okay to eat those. So some people love this slice, and some people, like I said, after it gets ripe, you can eat it right out of the kiwi. You don't have to even peel it or anything. So this is what it looks like. But it's unusual, and so is our story. Matter of fact, it's kind of like one of the characters from Shrek. You guys remember Shrek, the movie? So our story starts with a guy named Balaam. Kind of a cool name, right? Balaam. Well, he was a prophet, and he was a man who could receive messages from God. Well, he was on his way to go see this king named King Barak. And this man hated God's people. And you know what he wanted Balaam to do? Since he was a prophet, he wanted Balaam to put a curse on the Israelites so that he could go beat them in a battle. He offered Balaam some good money to curse the Israelites, kind of like a bribe. So Balaam, believe it or not, hopped on his donkey and set off down the road to go see King Barak. Well, you know what? Here's the deal. Balaam wasn't listening for a message from God. Okay? He knew deep down that God was going to protect Israel. And the last thing he wanted to hear from God was not about to be ignored. So that's why God sent the angel to stop him. So he's on his way and an angel stops him, okay? And remember, when he stopped, his donkey stopped. And I think he probably thought, what's going on with my donkey? He should be going because I'm the master and he should be doing what I say. The donkey wouldn't go, and Balaam got furious with the donkey, but he didn't know that the donkey got stopped by an angel. So, and then to freak Balaam out even further, God had the donkey talk. Okay? The whole deal is God doesn't like to be ignored, okay? God wants to speak to us, he wants to guide us, and there's no limit to what he'll do to try to get our attention and to teach us, okay? When God speaks, we need to listen. That's why he made these big things on the side of our heads. And when we listen, we need to be ready to hear and respond to whatever message he sends us. The phone's going to ring, so just try to ignore that, okay? So God speaks to us in many, 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 many different ways. One of those ways is through the Bible. And some people just think, well, the Bible is just a bunch of stories. But the Bible has a way of speaking to us like no other book. One day you'll be reading it, and all of a sudden, something that you were thinking about, the answer pops right into your head because you're reading the Bible. And the answer that you've been looking for is right in front of you. Or maybe the words you read are going to help you to make a decision that you've been praying about. That's been happening a lot with us here at church about how to do church when everybody's worried about the COVID. Some of you are staying home, which is okay. Some kids are coming to church, which is okay as well, okay? God's word can talk to people in unusual ways, just like this kiwi. And you know what? We need to listen. But you know what? He can also speak to us through other people. Okay, maybe the words of a song or something you hear on the radio is going to give you encouragement you need, or you're going to hear some words from a song that really makes sense, especially like when you're having a bad day. And music is one of my favorite things to do when I'm down or need encouragement, because there's just something about music that really gets to me. Okay, maybe the message in a sermon is going to help your parents. Maybe you're going to hear something from me that makes you go, uh-oh, I haven't been listening to God and I need to do a better job, okay? He can speak to us through our parents, imagine that, our friends, and sometimes strangers. So here's the deal. If God can make a donkey talk, he can speak to us through anyone or anything, okay? But you know what the key is to all this thing? You got to listen, okay? That's the hardest thing for us to do. Some of us, we can pray, telling God what we need, when we need it, and why we need it. But when it comes to listening, we don't do a very good job. God had to really stir things up for Balaam, didn't he? And to get his attention. But had Balaam been listening, he wouldn't have suffered what I would think is kind of embarrassing, that a donkey had to tell him God's word, because he was not wanting to listen or pay attention to God. Okay, and here's the deal, you guys. God is always speaking to us. When we commit ourselves to Jesus, he's always going to speak to us and guide us. Okay? So I just want to let you know a few things. We have just a couple more lessons left in our fruit series. Next week is watermelon, one of my favorites. I don't know about you, but we love to spit the watermelon seeds out after we were eating watermelon. And then after that is cherries. And then after that is oranges. And on the very last Sunday in August, we're going to review and kind of, as I call it, kind of have a fruit basket, fruit cocktail kind of day. So we're going to ask you some questions and review all the fruits and those kind of things. So, and then starting in September, our new curriculum is going to be called Fear Busters. And it's going to be talking about when I'm afraid and all the things that you can do when you're afraid. And so since we're kind of in this era of being afraid of the coronavirus, we want to talk to you about our fears and how God can take care of our fears if we just let him. All right? So thanks for listening. Be sure to watch the videos. There's a video about Balaam and his donkey. There's a video about kiwi fruit. There's a couple of new songs. So get busy, get online, check it all out, and keep learning about God, okay? If there's one thing you need to do, not just on Sundays, you guys, is learn about God and all the wonderful things he has for you, okay? All right, I'll see you next time. Until then, have another great week, okay? Bye.
Yuba County is agriculturally rich. It's the land of rice, walnuts, and prunes. But just outside Marysville city limits in the little town of Tambo, kiwi is king.
So we're in kiwi fruit season. We're just harvesting currently and packing as well.
This is Wild River Fruit, the largest organic kiwi farm in California.
I like everything about kiwi fruit.
Mike Nolan is more of the farmer, and his son Travis is focusing on sales. What were these originally called?
The Chinese gooseberry.
Gooseberries, or kiwis as we know them, have kind of a funny past. They're native to China, but when New Zealand started growing them, they decided to name the fruit after their national bird, the kiwi. Sort of a rebranding is what happened.
That's right.
The kiwi is a really weird fruit. It actually grows on a vine, much like grapes, but the Nolan's kiwi vineyard grows above your head.
So botanically, it's similar to a tomato.
Once the kiwi's picked off the vine, they head to the packing house.
A lot of the human contact is removed by the machine.
Jose Villalobos is the plant manager, and he runs the show in here.
Okay, Kiwi Vision, this looks like a proprietary kind of thing for this fruit.
Yeah, so what this is going to do is basically take pictures of the fruit, and it's going to select defective fruit and kick it out.
Do you guys just have a boatload of kiwi selfies in this machine, essentially?
Pretty much, yeah.
You know those really annoying stickers that are sometimes hard to get off your fruit? Yeah, this is the machine that puts them on.
So before they had this machine, would someone have to do this by hand?
I don't know. I haven't been around that long.
Kiwi harvest is highly efficient, and thanks to a series of conveyor belts, the fruit is picked and packed in just a matter of hours.
It's like a kiwi amusement ride, sort of.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Next stop, cold storage.
It is cold in here.
32 degrees is what it is.
Kiwis are shipped all over the world, and that's because they have a long shelf life if you keep them cold. They can last for up to 8 months.
We recommend put them in a paper bag or plastic bag along with a banana or apple.
Yuba County, California is rich with agriculture, but when it comes to berries, the kiwi is king. I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Well, it's easy to get mad. Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years. Finally, they came to the edge of the promised land. By now, all of the old men had died except for Moses, Joshua, and Caleb. Balak, the king of Moab, saw the Israelites and was afraid they would take over. King Balak sent messengers to a wise man named Balaam. The king said, "Come and curse them, so that I might be able to defeat them." King Balak knew that whomever Balaam cursed became cursed, and whomever he blessed became blessed. God told Balaam not to go with these men and not to curse the Israelites because they were blessed. Balaam obeyed. The king pleaded with Balaam a second time. "Please, come curse these people." This time, God told Balaam, "Go with the men, but only do what I tell you." So Balaam saddled his donkey and left with the king's men. Then God sent an angel to stop Balaam. Balaam could not see the angel, but his donkey could. First, the donkey went off the road, then ran into a wall. Finally, she laid down on the ground. Balaam hit the donkey when it stopped, so God gave the donkey the ability to speak. "What have I done to you that you have beaten me 3 times, the donkey said. Balaam was so mad that he didn't even wonder why his donkey was talking. "You made me look like a fool," Balaam said. "I should kill you." God allowed Balaam to see the angel. And Balaam said, "I have sinned. I will go back." The angel said, "No, go with these men, but only say what I tell you to say." When Balaam met the king, he said, "I can only say what God tells me." The king took Balaam to see where the Israelites were camping. Balaam told King Balak that he could not curse someone who God had blessed. Then Balaam blessed the Israelites. The king was not happy. He took Balaam to the second place to look out over the Israelites. God told Balaam to bless the Israelites again. Balaam even told the king the Israelites would defeat him. "If you won't curse them, don't say anything," the king said. Third time, he took Balaam to a place overlooking the Israelites. God gave Balaam a third message, and again, Balaam blessed the Israelites. King Balak had heard enough. "I brought you here to curse the Israelites, but you have blessed them," he said. "Go home." Balaam had a final message for the king. He said, "One day, the Lord will be born to the people of Israel. I see him, but not now. I perceive him, but not near." 1,400 years after Balaam announced Jesus' birth, wise men followed a star to the place where Jesus was born. The wise men worshiped Jesus as king. Matthew 2, verse 2.